Alright, this is gonna be weird, y'all, but I felt like making a commentary on something that believe me when I say this is why I'm using my little Gaia avatar instead of sitting in front of the camera like I normally do. Because I really feel weird even venturing into this. And no, let me stress this. No way after this will I be venturing into drama or gossip commentating. But I have been following this nonsense for the last few days because of combination of insomnia and just morbid curiosity. And as somebody with mental health issues, I tend to over analyze and pick apart things anyway. And this drama is probably one of the bigger ones on YouTube right now for content creator drama. So I definitely just wanted to give a quick rundown on my opinion about the Creepshow art Emily Artful thing. And I want to start with the punch. For anybody who is still trying to say that somehow Creepshow art is innocent, Emily didn't have this, or no, I know that 2 hours and 5 minutes is a lot, especially for younger folks. No offense, I'm an older lady. And it was kind of hard for me at some points to get through the full 2 hours. But the thing that packed the most wallop, and I'm going to jump ahead to the thing that packed the most wallop so that people can't go, well, there wasn't receipts. The biggest receipt was that conversation that she had directly with Shannon towards the end, where Shannon was like, oh, sure, let me give you our P.O. box for whatever papers you want to give us as a restraining order or whatever. Shannon was trying to play 3D chess at this point. Shannon as a narcissist, because I really feel like, and I can't diagnose anybody, I suffer from mental illness. I'm just going by somebody who was raised by somebody with this personality disorder. She gives off strong NPD vibes. And I feel like she was baiting Emily into, yeah, sure, hit us up with a restraining order so that I can turn it around and say, see, this is my stalker. She's even making up false allegations and taking out restraining orders against me and my husband. Trust me on this. I've dealt with manipulators for a very long time. They love broken people. They either craft you to be their foot soldiers for fuckery, or they put you in the category of people they can torment. Either way, you are going to be useful to what they can get out of you. And for Emily, unfortunately, because of her relationship with Creepshow's alleged husband, boyfriend, whatever the heck this Andrew/Anthony guy is to her, he was the catalyst for a lot of this. Because he was already, from what Emily put together in her puzzle piece types, telling of this story, was somebody who was domineering, controlling, full of himself. That music they played of his, oh my god. I mean, I'm not a critic, but as somebody who likes alternative and rock music, I know it's hard for people to believe, but we black people do that. As somebody who likes that kind of music, when she played that bit that she was talking about how she sung over because it was weak, it was like, hun, both of those takes were kind of, all of it was garbage. Honestly, I wouldn't listen to that for free. It wasn't good. And you could hear the pretension and the arrogance in the music and the way they all talk to each other. There was an air of superiority, and that's another point I need to drive home with Emily's whole entire story, because there was a lot to unpack. She said it was going to be a lot to unpack. She could have easily portrayed herself as just the victim. With some of the stuff that she had, just the stuff, especially towards the end, with the way Shannon was trying to be like, oh yeah, it's our mutual frenemy Brandon, and all of the stuff that Shannon tried to deflect, because that's another NPD tactic of deflecting. It's never their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. But the thing that got me was that Emily also admitted to shitty things she did. And I think there was two reasonings behind that. A, she's really trying to grow as a person from that pick me slash probably online troll that did a lot of stupid shitty things to, feed the insecurity that she had because she's had a lot of issues. But I think another thing is it took the bite out of anything Shannon could try to counter with. So, this child stalked Emily for a good while. Stole accounts, if we're to believe the story that we heard for those 2 hours, and there was pretty credible evidence that there were a lot of sock accounts made and a lot of stalking online. So you cannot tell me that Creepshow didn't grab screen caps of Emily's old post and the way she was when she was a pick me girl, or that Andrew himself didn't have all those things as a gotcha. And unfortunately for Creepshow, I don't think she understands that if she did that for somebody like me, it would verify that what everything Emily said was true. That this girl was deep in just studying everything she was doing over the years. So she can't even use that as a gotcha, honestly, if you're being critical about this. Because if Shannon was the innocent party in all this, why the heck would you be following this woman so deeply? Why the heck would you even have all this old stuff on her if allegedly you're the victim? You see, you've got to, it's hard for some people. It's not hard for me because I have diagnosed mental health issues. I am a sociopath. I understand that unnerves some people. I'm here to tell you that it's not the Hollywood version psycho stab bullshit. We are constantly in our heads. We are constantly analyzing people. We have paranoia, so we are constantly doing things differently. We think a bit on a different level. And it's like that for a lot of neurotypical people. And there are different levels on the spectrum. And for somebody with NPD, they tend to have this thing about them where they obsess over things. They love to craft minions for themselves because they need to defend themselves. They love to deflect and never take responsibility for the stuff they did. But worse yet, once you become an enemy of somebody with NPD, especially, that's it for you. They are seeking to destroy you because it makes them feel good. And even if she gets to a point where she gets help, y'all, which Emily alluded she hopes for it, and I do too, in a way. I hope that this young lady goes and gets help because she needs it. She is always going to have aspects of her personality, the manipulation, the acting like she's the victim when she's done terrible things, the needing to surround herself with people who only prop her up and agree, because anything else, anything less than that is a betrayal. The I got your back. I love you. You're in my crew and all of that while talking shit behind them, because they don't, and people who are narcissistic do not value you truly. They value what you can bring to them and how you can make them look. And especially if you are like really successful or do well and you befriend them, they love it because they feel like they're rising up in a rank, even though they feel like they're better than you. And I'm telling you, my vibes don't lie with this situation. Emily, when she put out all of that stuff, could have easily said that, she was just the victim in this. She has no faults, no flaws. She owned up to all the shitty things she did, all the shitty things that weren't really her fault and really hard to hear, but she wanted it out there because they were using that information to scare her in the silence. And as somebody who dated a manipulator who was very abusive about stuff like that and threatening you with information and stuff about you, it can be a scary place. And I'm glad that Miss Artful, I know it's not her name, but I think it's cute to say Miss Artful, put out there her truth. Put out there the conversation she had back and forth. Put out there that she wasn't a good person back in the day and that she had to grow and accept that that was a part of her past and that she's not controlled by it. She's not going to be blackmailed by it. She's not going to be forced to live as a prisoner by it anymore. And that people like Creepshow and her husband can no longer use that to hurt her. And I'm going to put this out there. If I see them utilizing that kind of stuff, like the revenge porn and things like that, it will just justify everything Emily said over the years. Because if you really look at the situation, it feels like there was a lot of switcheroos going on with Shannon. It was like she was taking all the stuff she was literally doing to Emily and then turning it into her story. So that not only could she craft this lifestyle for her that was lucrative, but she could gain sympathy and people standing by her because we all love protecting fragile people. One of the things I've learned sharing my own mental health journeys is that I have a lot of people that want to stand by me, want to protect me, and it feels good. But the difference between what I'm going through and what somebody with diagnosed NPD goes through is that they take these people, and when they do bad things, they sick these people on others. And that is a bad sign. And you need to ask yourself, because there's nothing wrong with being a fan of somebody. There's nothing wrong with admiring somebody's work, feeling inspired when they do a piece of art or some music or act well, or even sports figures. There's nothing wrong with admiring people. Is when you take that admiration and you turn it into blind loyalty that there is an issue. There's a real issue with not understanding that you do not have to be down with everything somebody that you enjoy and entertainment stands for. I say this as a Gen Xer. You're going to be heartbroken if you do stuff like that. I learned early on in life, because I lost a lot of people that I loved their music or their acting to all sorts of problems, whether it was, well, depression, ending their lives, drug addiction. So you learn early on that life is fragile and that people are humans. They're full of flaws and fucked up lives, and some of them can create magical beautiful things, but they're still human. They're still full of flaws and fuckery, and you don't need to be foot soldiers to that fuckery. You need to ask yourself, when you go and defend somebody tooth and nail, are you defending them or your idealized version of them? And you need to be careful, because I'm tired of seeing good people become the victims of people who know how to manipulate your emotions and people who know how to treat you like pawns in their game. And a lot of people are hurting right now because they were very vocal pawns in Creepshow art, and more than likely Andrew slash Anthony, whatever, the bad musician is what I want to call him from now on, game. I just think, and like I said, I am not going to be doing like any kind of like drama commentary after this. It's just important to me because I love art. I love animation. I am a complete novice in this, so you will probably not see a lot of my own artwork or drawing online anytime soon. But as somebody who loves and appreciates art and likes, from the sidelines, seeing some of these commentary channels and only knowing both of these young ladies from a distant standpoint, I just wanted to weigh in on the fact that not only did Emily give a very clear timeline of things that happened. She gave information that was relevant to the story. She did not digress too much, but everything she had to give, you have to realize, everything she gave was over a decade of torment and torture. So you can't just rush that and you can't just compact that in like 30 minutes. So it was a good detailed thing, but it was very long. That's why I wanted to start it off with the real gotcha of that restraining order talk that she had with Shannon, because that shit blew my mind. That was the smoking gun for me. I didn't really need anything else after seeing that convo, because it was like she was saying, yeah, yeah, I'll work with you. Yeah, yeah, I understand. Because she knew what she was doing all those years. And I'm telling you right now, for me, listening to that story, there were two catalysts. One was that music track where Emily admits she was being catty and petty and bitchy about it and wanted to replace Shannon, who she wasn't sure at the time was Creepshow art, as the singer on there. So there were jabs thrown from that. But the real catalyst was the alleged assault. I think after that, Shannon just snapped. It was hard for her to unpack the fact that her man cheated on her with the woman that he used to be with, that she felt she was better than. And then the allegations that he did it while she was in a prone state makes her have to rationalize the fact that she was with a potential assaulter. And for somebody with narcissistic personality disorder, first of all, you telling them that their man wants anybody but them, they ain't gonna fly, chief. She ain't gonna go for that. She ain't gonna admit anything like that, because to her, nobody is more worthy for his love and affection but her. So in her mind, after this happened, she had to destroy who she saw was her enemy. And what better way to destroy her but then be better than her at what she does? Go after that supposed crown of YouTube popularity in a medium that she knows Emily loves and is passionate about. It is methodical. It is very psychotic. And as somebody who is diagnosed with a mental health issue, I have seen such I have seen such crazy things. I have done very, borderline manic things. But when I say this is a level of diabolical that I had never seen before, but I can understand as I was listening to the story where her mind was going, it blew me away. So that is just how I feel this played out. And like, once again, I am a nobody on this. If you clicked on this because you wanted to hear about Creepshow and all this detailed thing about Emily Elizabeth, I'm telling you, I am not a drama commentary. I am a person who talks about social issues and geeky stuff and mental health especially. But I really just wanted to get this out because you're going to hear a lot of different people's takes on it who are into drama and stuff, and they all might have sides in this. I don't. I am very impartial in this. This is just my take on drama from a complete outsider's perspective. And I know by hearing this, you're going to be like, well, it sounds like you're pro Emily Artful. And I'm going to be honest. If I had to weigh as a judge, and they were both standing before me who I believe versus who I think was bullshit, I'm definitely gonna lean on the side of Emily Artful, because she unpacked a lot of luggage. She put out all the soiled unmentionables. She did not shy away from airing out any dirty bits, while Creepshow packed it up, deleted stuff, and is acting like I will handle all of this out of sight, when her the whole thing that made her successful was putting her business out there. So you don't go from being somebody who made it a career of putting your business out there allegedly in these story times, putting your homelessness, everything about you was an open book when it was profitable. And now that people are going to see the real side of you, you clam up. So I just want y'all to think on that. Like I said, I'm not a gossip commentator. This will hopefully be the only time I weigh in on this, because I'd rather weigh in on actual diagnosed mental health stuff. But I just wanted to get that out there. And if you did tune into that, thank you. I'm not going to ask for a follow or subscribe or any of that. I don't think you'll want to watch any of the commentary I normally do. So if you click just for my thoughts on this subject, thank you for the view. That's all I needed. Bye.